Hey, this is Tony Carnes, and this has been a while since I've done something like this, but this is my Mecha Phantom Beast deck profile. Full side, full extra, the whole kit and caboodle. Let's start with the basics. 40-card deck. We'll go to the monsters first. We got Mecha Phantom Beast, Hamstrat, 3. There's 3 of each. I only run 12 monsters. Mecha Phantom Beast, Mega Raptor, Mecha Phantom Beast, Black Falcon, and Mecha Phantom Beast, Tether Wolf. I've tried to optimize this deck over like the past year through formats, and this seems to be the best of what I can do, the choices I've made, and I've gone down to the basics. No tuners, because if you run tuners, you're just running a shitty Gearja type deck. This is just plain old beats all the time, 12 monster deck. Let's go down to the spells. I got 2 Token Sunday, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 3 Scapegoats, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Gate. Scapegoats is fuel for all these guys because the Mecha Phantom tokens that these guys produce only matter when it comes to their level increase, but they can still be used to keep them from being destroyed, and they can be used to fuel their effects. Token Sunday, if you're not familiar with it, it destroys all your tokens and destroys equal cards on the field up to that many. And it's fun to drop Scapegoats and then drop that on somebody who has like multiple back rows. Also, it doesn't target, so they have to choose the chain before it actually resolves. And I've gotten a lot of people to lose on Dueling Network and others because they didn't know that kind of rule with the card. But it's a really nice card. It's tech, but it's good tech because I have a lot of producers. Hamstrat produces 2 for a 2-card kill, and let's see, traps. Well, let's count the spells. There's 10 spells, I believe. And trust me, if you're thinking of other spells I could have used, I've already probably thought of it and got rid of the idea, like limiter removal, etc., etc. Let's go to traps. This is the heavy part of the deck. We got main deck Macrocosmos, 3 Fiendish Chain, a Compulse, Wabaku, Torrential Tribute, Soul Drain, Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Spiritual Wind Darts. If you're not familiar with these cards, it tributes a wind monster to bottom a card on the field to the deck, bottom it to the deck, blah, 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 etc., etc. 2 Deep Prison, 7 Tools, 2 Mirror Force, and a Starlight Road. Now, I used to have 2 7 Tools instead of a Starlight Road, but Starlight, despite a format where Heavy Storm isn't around, there's Exciton Knight, there's Exciton Knight. If 4-star beats are like the best kind of decks, like Gearja, Mermail 4-star versions, and Fire Fist. So if they want to play Exciton Knight, they're going to usually do it. Even if they hold a MST in their hand, they'll probably make the play thinking that Warning's the only thing going to stop it, but they will 100% play into Starlight Road, and it's funny to watch. So there's the main deck, and trust me, I've taken the time to figure out tech cards, figure out everything, and this is the best of what I can do. Main deck macro is probably the best thing ever. It like fights off everything. The main deck Soul Drain doesn't fight off everything, but it fights off a good chunk of the meta, such as Mermail, Bujin, Heratic. It's fairly useless against a few other things, but, just side it out. If you draw it, hope you get MST, hope it becomes bait, but not all the time is it ever a game changer to draw this card when you don't need it. 1 Wabaku, because when you have 1 monster on the field, you want to be able to summon another one without it being destroyed somehow, and Wabaku is a good surprise. It also stops like things that Mirror Force can't stop, such as Lanced cards, Spellbook of Power, all that stuff. It's chainable. It's pretty solid for a simple card. Oh, and Monster Gate. I haven't mentioned Monster Gate, but with only Mecha Phantom Beasts in the deck, Monster Gate contribute your tokens in order to summon one of these, and usually it's good to summon the 4-star one, but if you have a bunch of Scapegoats and a bunch of monsters in grave, Monster Gate can go into Hamstrat, and Hamstrat can revive all your Mecha Phantom Beasts, including extra decked ones like Dracosac. So that's the 40-card deck, and trust me, if you think of any text that I could have put in here, I probably already tried it out. This is the dedication I put into actually constructing this particular deck. But we can go to the extra deck now. The extra deck, trust me, once again, I had my choices, decided on these for different reasons. The 4 rank XYZs are Utopia, 101 Silent Honor Arc, Abyss Dweller, Lightning Chidori, and Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. All of these have really different effects, and I had to make choices like whether or not I put Gear Gigant in there, or if I should use rank 3s. If you have to make a rank 3 in a deck where there's only 3 level 3 monsters, then you're probably losing, and you probably might as well not even try. But all these have very different effects. Dweller's pretty much important. Chidori is pretty much an amazing card for wind-type decks. Honor Arc, obviously, and Utopia is a choice card, but like it's strong, it stops attacks. I mean, you'll be in a situation where you want to summon Utopia rather than a lot of other things. Phantasmal Dragon, if you're not familiar with this one takes 3 level 3 or 3 level 4 wind monsters, and it can't be swung upon while it has material. It can attack directly while it has material. It can't be targeted while it has material. It loses material at the end phase, but it's usually, if you're able to summon this card, it usually means that you don't have any mecha tokens and you're sitting with 3 level 4s and you're like, hey, Dark Hole's gone, I can swing and just kill him. Cards that stop this are like Dark Hole, Mirror Force, Skill Drain, Abyss Gaios. I'm sure there are a few others, but if you're managing to summon this guy, it's usually not because you're struggling, but because it's a strategic maneuver to avoid being targeted or going against the deck that can only do such things. Level 6s, this takes 2 Hamstrats while there's a Mecha token out. Gauntlet Launcher, which is a monster clearer, and Photon Bouncer, which is a monster negator. It was most of the time you only have 3 level 3s in the deck, and that's the Hamstrats. And if you're summoning this, it's a good thing. There's like no wrongs with summoning these. You're usually in a good position to be doing so. Level 7s, Gaia Dragoon, number 11 Big Eye, Master of Blades, and Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. All solid level 7s. This one can come off on to one of these if you wanted to, or you could summon it to trample for game. Usually not the case, but you know, sometimes it happens. Master of Blade, all these are obvious solids. I have a level 9, which is Dyson Sphere, which takes 2 Hamstrats and 2 tokens, and it's got a decent effect. Kitty, I'm a professional. I'm a professional. Dyson Sphere takes 2 Hamstrats. If you're not familiar with this guy's effect, he can negate attacks put on him, and he can attack directly if monsters on the field with higher attack on the opposing side. It's usually very rare that you summon this guy, but when you do, it's usually because the field is more common than 2 Hamstrats alone without tokens, but you never know. Gustav Max, level 10, big ending play. Usually when you have Black Falcon, Mega Raptor comboing off each other, swinging for damage, and then you make this guy for game or to push their spell and traps when they're about to lose. Yeah, I mean, that's all that's really good about this guy. He's a beater. He's a game changer. He's everything. Let's see. Also, I run the Stardust for the Starlight Road and a Chimera Tech. I used to only put Chimera Tech in because Cyber Dragon decks would have a Cyber Dragon monster and a bunch of machines on the field, and they wouldn't contact their own Chimera Tech, so I'd do it for them. But then I put a Cyber Dragon in the side deck to fight other machines, so I'm like, might as well. I mean, I have the room. So that's a 15-card extra deck. No rank 3s. Bunch of rank 4s because these are the most common kind of plays. Dyson Sphere is the least common play, but it does happen sometimes, and it's pretty good. And sorry if I'm stuttering a lot and thinking. This is the first deck profile I've done in a while. Let's check the side deck. My kitty would mess up the transmodifies. All right, let's go to this. 2 Light Mirrors, 1 Cyber Dragon. 2 Transmodifies, Spell Canceller, 3 Black Horn of Heavens, 1 Trap Stun, a Dimensional Fissure, Nobleman of Crossout, 2 Overworked, and a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. The side deck's pretty solid. Light Mirror stops all the Bujin, maybe Light Sworn kind of decks, Hieratic kind of. This is for like the rogue kind of decks. It used to fight spellbooks off very well, but spellbooks started using traps, which confused me to how they could get the same kind of synergy, but like putting like Fiendish Chains, Mirror Force Warnings, and Torrential in their deck and crap like that. But it's used to fight like maybe Chain Burn, Gishki, Ritual decks, you know, if they don't like sack the crap out of you. I'm sure there are a dozen other options to play Spellcanceller against, mostly Rogue. 3 Blackhorns are used because the Girja matchup is retarded. Girjas are better without Karakuris in them, and because of that, they don't have any decent beaters, and they have to XYZ. And plus, it's solid against every other deck that can XYZ. But usually, this is the mainly against Evil Storm, Constellars, and Girja. And I guess everybody should know what Black Horn of Heaven's abilities are. There's Trap Stun, obvious for trap-type decks. I mean, like it says itself. Defissure, because we can't main deck everything. Nobleman is for Gravekeepers / Girja / anything that would set flip effect monster, rogue crap. I don't know exactly, but it's there for a good 1-for-1 against Girja, which can help you set up very well against them. A Shadow Mirror versus shit like Insectors, Gravekeepers, anything with dark monsters in them, Evil Swarms. I only use 1 because this deck has an insane matchup against Evil Swarms. It's really, really good against Evil Swarm. And 2 Overworks versus anything like Gravekeepers, Fire Fist, anything that would boost their attack, defense, or I think it's just attack. Yeah, it's higher than their original attack. The only thing I can think of is Gravekeepers and Fire Fist, but I'm sure there are a lot of other decks that have like boosts in them for Overwork to work very well. Maybe Noble Knights. Oh yeah, this is Noble Knights. This will crush Noble Knights in the balls because they run like a limited trap lineup, and if you side and Trap Stun and keep the 7 tools versus Noble Knights and you get this to go off, they're going to lose. Or if you get this to go off while they already have a Noble Knight, then just activate any card ever and kill their Noble Knight on the board, and you just like rape the shit out of them. If you don't know what Spellcanceller does, it's a Jinzo for spells. It negates all spells, even the ones that activate in graveyard, just spells in general, like Harpy, Hysteric, Sign, and crap like that. That's what that does. It's like Spell Jinzo. It's just weaker. It has an 1800 stat Wind Machine, though, so it really pushes synergy when you use it on a mecha. You usually, when you want to side this in, it's risky to side out ham strats because if you draw both transmodifies, you only have 1 target by tributing a level 4, and you have a lot of targets if you tribute ham strat. So you got to be very, very wise about your siding and whether or not you want to draw that extra transmodify. But opening it up versus the decks you do want to use it against, then you won't have to worry too much otherwise. Okay, so that is the whole deck. 15 side, 40, 15. Notes is that they have a good matchup versus Fire Fist, have a good matchup versus Mermail. You know, like most of the time you open up macro, Soul Drain versus Mermails, or if you can make Dweller, then you're good to go. But most of the good Mermail decks don't main deck MST, so opening up good against them is pretty largely, it's probably going to happen. And if you don't draw any of those kind of cards or combo out like that, then you probably have a good chance of beating them anyway. You just have to fight and hopefully draw good monsters, because opening up Mega Raptor, opening up Scapegoats, that's pretty much an engine for your win, because infinite searches, infinite not being destroyed by Mirror Force kind of shit. I used to side deck Destiny Hero Plasma because with 3 Scapegoats and shit, but, you know, too many traps in every deck, I can't really do it. This deck is really, really built to beat the meta. It's used to beat Girja, it's used to beat Fire Fist, it's used to beat Evil Swarm, Constellars, it's used to beat all that crap. It does not have the ability to beat a bunch of random rogue shit. Like, it will struggle versus rogue shit, and it'll also struggle versus spellbooks because they decided to somehow keep synergy with their spellbooks and put traps in the deck. It's really hard to understand, but I mean, it does it, and I'm not going to argue, I guess. So, other than that, I don't have very many side notes unless there's a specific card that's in question, which I think I've addressed already. But other than that, this deck is really good. I've gotten to rank 1600 using this deck for 2 formats. Versus my locals, I'm usually crushing everybody. Versus regionals, you're going to go against a rogue. But I'd rather play this deck at a nationals rather than a YCS or a regional, because regionals and YCSs, anybody can use anything they want, but at nationals, people are probably going to be smart about it since they were smart about getting their invite at a regional. So you won't run into much random rogue shit like Lavels or Gishki or fucking anything else. But yes, thank you for watching my first deck profile in a while. This one's a competitive one, and I hope a lot of people like it and see how it does. Peace out.